Hello and welcome to the always beautiful finale Ligure. In today's video we're going to be catching up with the pro riders as they do their check-in. The check-in, well, it's actually called a roll-in, where you get to check the legality of your bike, whether the bike is actually within the EU regulations. In the video we're going to be talking to some of the pro riders. We're going to be talking about a load of subjects, from motors, the software tunes, the battery capacities, the geometry, sizing, braking, disc size, tyre pressures, you name it, we've got it in this video, and I think it's really interesting start to the season. Okay, so what's going on here? You got your laptop, you got loads of wires.
We're doing rollouts basically, so we're working with the technical delegate for the race, and he is measuring the wheel rollout, and we are programming it onto the drive unit using the typical software that bike manufacturers do to do the initial settings on the bike. And then I show it to him, kind of confirm the cutoff speed of 25k per hour and the wheel size, and then I generate a little service report and email it to him.
So do all teams have to bring their laptop to this part of the pits?
Yeah. So this is part of the race, especially for the first one when they're doing bike checks like this. Throughout the day, all of the teams will roll through. Shimano just happens to be first.
Now, as we saw last year, Yeti rider dominated quite a few of the power stages on his Yeti 160E. A couple of refreshments for this year. We've got a new 38.4 coil shock on it, and of course that Shimano EP801 auto shift. What's quite interesting about Ryan's bike, now Ryan is actually 6'2", 6'3", and he actually rides a size medium bike. Clip pedals too, by the way. Now Mick Hanna's bike, on the other hand, is a size large, and he's around about 5'10". World Cup downhill races, he's got 220mm rotors front and rear, 760mm bars on this bike. Now remember, all the Yeti team race bikes have got Shimano Link Glide on, which is 11 speed. And, you know, we talk about, reliability and cost of bike parts. Those Link Glide cassettes and derailleurs are well, in the UK, you probably get them for about £100 or 120 euros out here. So good quality parts, great range on them, and great, good enough for the fastest races in the world. Now, you might have seen this man before. Now, where are you going? This is the Orbea development team. Are these guys using the same motor as the Yeti team?
Same DU. Same DU.
Oh, he's cagey, isn't he? So cagey. Damien Otton. Now, there's two Orbea teams here. There's the race team and there's a development team, which Damien is part of. You might recognise this bike. It's the new Rise, which was launched, crikey, only about a week ago. The Rise comes in two versions. It comes in the SL and it comes in the LT. Obviously, the configuration and the specification of the bike is up to you guys. But when it comes to the race team, Damien's got 36 forks, he's got a coil shock. This is the LT, I'm taking it, right?
Yeah, correct. So that's a LT with a 160 travel in the front and 150 on the back. So it's a little bit more aggressive geometry.
So tell us about the Orbea lab team. What's involved in that?
So the lab team is Orbea optimization lab team is a team of development product actually. So we come for racing, but we come to test some product. That's the main goal. So we're testing plenty of stuff, like from geometry of the frame, from stiffness, from plenty of things, from motor as well. With Shimano, we're actually testing a new. You say no.
Well, of course, he's always so cagey, but.
Yeah, we're testing actually a new software, which is a little bit more of power, and we have the carryover. We have plenty of things for racing, which is really good. Yeah. And that's it, yeah.
So this bike then, what size battery have you got in the down tube of this bike?
So on this one, for this race, I'll be riding the 630, and we have also a 440. So 420, sorry. Depend on the race we're gonna do. We're gonna change, for example, the Mega Avalanche and the Alpe d'Huez. We're gonna race the small one, and then for this one, the big one, we're gonna change.
So how many battery changes do you anticipate doing at this race? 2.
We're able to change 2 times, which is not that much because we have almost 3,000, I guess, of elevation. So we'll have to manage the battery for sure.
And how long will it take you or your teammates time to change that battery?
12 minutes. Okay, cool. On the race mode, I mean. Yeah, it's quite easy to do. We just take off the engine and the battery come off. But yeah, you need to be trained for that. Yeah.
And in terms of what's the weight of this bike then? Do you know what roughly the weight of it is?
On race mode, we run 20.
Kelan Grant from Tyrone in Ireland. Now, this is probably one of the coolest bikes here that we've seen so far. It's the new Rotwild EXC full enduro race bike. In terms of the travel on it, we've got 160, 154 or 148. Obviously that changes the bottom bracket height as well. You can see it in the settings here. Obviously I'm thinking that Keelan's going to be riding 160 mode. 170mm up front. This is a full carbon bike. I think one of the most interesting things of all is we've got Rotwild's own battery, 840 watt hour battery, sorry, 820 watt hour battery in the down tube, or they can run a 740. But the cool thing is both batteries are the same weight. I'm going to actually do a bit of a deeper dive on this bike because I think it is very cool. Do you know what I love is the fact that all the Shimano people are hanging around here checking everything out. Jose Borges is Canyon Strive. Interesting, he's 1.86 meters, which I'm guessing is, well, quite a bit over 6 foot. He also rides a size medium, which comes in at a 475mm reach. So I can see a few trends here. We saw McCann and Ryan Gilchrist, they rode different bikes contrary to what you might think. Now this is our first Bosch bike. This is Bosch section. Obviously the teams come in. You've got Shimano bikes, you've got Bosch bikes, you've got SRAM bikes later on. You can see Kieran's tuning into the bike here in the top tube display. What's interesting as well in this is actually the first bike to feature SRAM gear changing. You both had the Shimano team, you had the Orbea team, you had Kelan Grant on the Rotwild team. All those guys were running on Shimano Link Glide. On this bike, 180mm travel front, 160 rear. Yeah, some interesting stuff so far, that's for sure. Edgar Carballo from Tenerife, right?
Yeah, from there I come.
So you've got an Orbea Wild, Bosch CX race motor, 170, 160. Now how tall are you?
1.75.
Okay. It's quite interesting. You ride a size large. There's lots of taller riders here, for example, such as Ryan Gilchrist. You know, they ride size medium bikes. Why do you ride a size large?
I don't know. I try in some test M and L, and the M is not good for my ride style. I think L help me more like good smooth in the races, because with M I go too crazy, too wild, and for that I go with L, and the chrono is better.
And of course you come from a downhill background as well, don't you?
Yeah, I come from the downhill bike, and you know it's high speed all the time, and we need bigger bikes.
And I see you have 225mm rotors to slow you down.
Yeah, the powerful brakes always help me because I am a heavy rider.
Thanks, Edgar. One last thing, actually. This bike, because it's got a Bosch motor, we've now got 12-speed Shimano XTR on there. Edgar, all the best for a race. It's quite a tough place to race bikes, isn't it?
Thanks, mate.
Anka Martin, he's using the e-bike for different reasons these days. Anka, over to you.
Yeah, this is as wild as it gets lately, but she's loving it, so it's pretty cool. It's pretty awesome to be able to use this bike for, like.
When are we going to see you racing e-bikes?
Oh man, I don't know. Next year maybe.
Ooh. Laura Charles, KTM Prowler Exonic. This is actually probably one of the longest travelled bikes so far, 180mm travel. This time got a Bosch CX Race Limited Edition motor. Laura, these are big tyres. What have we got here?
Yes, it's the new e-Ride. It's the new one the Michelin developed especially for e-bikes. It's 2.4.
Love a good walkthrough. Happens all the time.
Oh, sorry. Yes, I said it's the new Michelin tire. It's especially for the e-bike. It's a 2.4 in front and 2.6 rear because it's more big to have more grip because we put the bike is heavy, so we put more weight in the front, so the rear wheel is more loose. So with this tire, you can keep the grip more easy.
And also for the power stage as well, right?
Yeah, when it's very steep, it's like big crampon, so it's more easy to go to the top.
How tall are you?
167.
And what size bike is this?
It's a medium bike.
Okay, cool. Oh, one last thing. What size battery?
750.
Laura, thanks so much for your time. Have good fun in the race.
Yeah, thank you.
Florencia Espinera Herreros and Primož.
Primož.
Primož, can you tell me about the suspension decision from you guys?
Suspension decision is made by rider itself because she feels good. I think she find with the air more reactive bike, more aggressive, and as she is also aggressive rider, this is the style of her riding now.
Yeah, well, she is the champion, right?
She is the champion, and we should listen the champion. Make all the wishes come true, and she needs to do her work.
Now, obviously, any bike that's had Nico Vullios' eyes on it will have some customization, that's for sure. Sending best wishes to Nico. This is the GLP 2, or was it 3? This is the Lapierre GLP 3. Normally it's got like some covering in this area here, but this is Kevin Marrie's bike. Removed all that covering. We've got a custom guard. You've got a tube in there, so a lot more airflow on this bike. I think a really nice touch is the addition of these inners on the outer. What I mean by that, this covering here normally features on the inside of the down tube, but they've put it onto the outside of the brake hoses to keep the noise down on the bike. Very nice looking bike, and obviously with the GLB3, which as with the GLP2 as well, the battery is located in the middle of the bike, so that means the weight distribution on this bike is very central. You can lift the front and the back equally as easily. Now we saw Kelan Grant's bike earlier, which had a 720 or an 800. This is actually a 720 watt-hour battery. It proves that you can actually have a bike which is visually quite distinctive by having a big battery in a very different place. Emanuel Pombo has been racing e-mountain bikes from the beginning. Emanuel.
Emanuel.
Pombo, can you explain to us how come you ride ABS, please?
After
you can take it away.
Okay, I can take it, but I can sing or no?
Keep it close.
Keep it close.
Yeah.
We've been trying this off season, the ABS, and we saw a lot of advantages in some parts, especially in grip on the front tire, and we decided that it was good enough to race.
Do you think in really loose terrain, loose rocks, do you think that's a strength of the ABS?
Yeah, I think the strength of the ABS is really where you talk in loose rocks and loose fast section, and even on braking, you can carry more speed because it's more gentle. Yeah.
Tracey Moseley, being Tracey Moseley, hasn't even arrived here yet. She's coming in on a plane this afternoon, allegedly. Interestingly, on the old size business, Tracey was on a medium last year. She's now on a size small track rail. Mathieu Rouffret is from Nice in France, rides Meta Power SX Commencal 29-27.5. Interesting thing about this bike, it's a full aluminium bike, so we're looking at materials here at the World Cup. Lots of carbon bikes, lots of carbon aluminium chainstays. This is a full aluminium. TRP derailleur on there, TRP brakes, and fly machine. Now we're doing the check-in of the bikes here. Obviously we haven't talked about motors yet. Rocky Mountain, arguably one of the fastest, most powerful e-bike motors on the market. Levy Batista from northeast France, the Vosges country. Levy, got a few interesting points of discussion on this bike. Your crank is the first one. That looks like a non-stock crank. What's the reason for that?
Actually, I wanted to have a smaller crank because we studied it, and actually you don't lose power with shorter ones, so it's really good for e-bikes. But with the Rocky Mountain, we are stuck with the cinch interface, which is only for Race Face or another brand. But then when you watch on the market, the smaller one is 165. So we took 170 and machined it to reduce the size, and now it's 150.
Wow, cool. That's a really proper prototype. Talking about gearing on your bike here, you've got the TRP cassette and derailleur. Do you actually use all the gears on that cassette on the back?
No, actually it's a brand new cassette, so for the moment it's a big one, and when you are making this kind of racing, it's too big. We are almost riding all the time in turbo mode, and then it's too powerful, and we don't need that much torque.
You've got a 38 performance as an e-bike fork in there. Many people would be surprised that, you know, a top level racer like yourself hasn't got the fancy fork. This is a performance fork with not many adjusters. Would you be, or are you just as competitive with a relatively simple fork like this than the high-tech one with all the adjusters?
Yeah, actually it was the training setup for the winter, because this is what we had, and actually it's pretty fine. So I trained until today with this fork. Maybe I'm gonna keep it because yeah, it's enough and I'm used to it. We are going to check with the team if we change everything, but as you can see, even the tire is from my country, which is rainy for the moment.
Wow, thanks Levi for that insight.
Thank you.
Yanick Pontal, champion in 2022?
Yeah, correct. Exactly.
You were on Specialized then, you were on Transition last year, on Propain this year. A few things which I've noticed in your bike, which I've not noticed on a few other pro bikes, is you use a Garmin device up front there. Do you actually use that in the race?
Yeah, exactly. I'm using this one on the race and training, like it's to manage my power legs and earth rate during the transfer mainly, and to also have some data after the race, so to improve the training.
The data is good fun, isn't it?
Yeah, I really like data.
Cranks, those look pretty short to me.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's 150 cranks, so really short, the shortest one I think. So yeah, for me it's really nice. I'm more comfortable on the pedaling section, especially on power stage. So clearance is better, and I feel good also on the downhill. So yeah, it's good.
What's the bottom bracket height on this bike?
This one it's 352.
Okay, right. So it's not a very low. It's not a super low bike anyway, is it?
No, it's not very low.
And obviously Yannick's got flight attendant on his Zeb up front, and also a coil shock with Zeb with the flight attendant on it too, by the looks of it. But he's not going to talk to us about that by the sounds of it. Yanick, all the best for this weekend.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys.
So there you go, folks. That's pretty much wrapped up of the weigh-in, or should I say roll-in. Just got the GasGas bikes here. So obviously we've had Shimano, we've had Bosch, we've had Polini. Obviously got the SRAM motor on these bikes. This is the new GasGas ECC. Wish you must, if you've not seen the video with the GasGas team, check that out. So lots of the battery capacity is very different here, from around about 620, 630 up to 820, which we saw on that Rotwild bike. And for a circuit which is allegedly around 84 kilometers, the whole business of battery swapping and battery capacity will have a big impact.